Championship round 4 in the book. Here are my hot takes. 1. Getting it done. Now, I'm going to lump in Southampton with Leicester this week in the getting up to speed, but still banging out the win stakes. Both clubs have had plenty of ins and outs so far, and that's probably going to continue in this final week of the transfer window. Leicester made it 4 wins out of 4, but again, they're just kind of getting the job done at the moment. All 4 wins have been by a single goal. 3 of the winners have come on 84, 87 and 92 minutes. This time it was Casey McAteer to thank. His double did for Rotherham at the New York. Southampton can't match Leicester's 4 straight wins, but all 3 of their wins have also been by a single goal, and there's been late winners too against Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth, as well as a very late equaliser against Norwich. Leicester atop, Saints 4th, and my normal analysis for a powerful Championship parachute club cruising along to victories applies for both. Either things are going to go up a notch and these teams are going to start blowing sides away once the window closes and these new managers' patterns of play get further ingrained in the players' minds. Or winning tight games by the odd goal and maybe relying a bit on star power to do so will flatten out and results drop off. There is, of course, a third option, by the way. In recent years, we have seen teams actually get into the top 2 and basically be questioned right throughout the campaign. Parker's Bournemouth, Xisco's Watford, even Sheffield United last year. We're going to know a hell of a lot more a few games after the international break. 2. Surprise, surprise. Up in the top 6 with the big boys are a couple of surprise packages, both of whom hit their 3rd straight win this weekend to go on to 10 points. We're talking, of course, about Birmingham and Preston. Much has been made of the turnaround at Birmingham, but Preston's good start does feel a little more of a low-key surprise. Birmingham's latest win came against Plymouth, and look, to make sure I'm fair, given what I've just said about Southampton and Leicester, I should also say Blues have done it late on in their games too. Jay Stansfield brought in to fill a hole in the striking roster, and a 95th minute winner from him took down an Argyle side full of momentum from their League One title win back in May. I guess we could kind of see the Birmingham hot start coming given the feel-good factor there after the takeover, but Preston, not so much. Pretty good. Remember that weird start last season for North End with all those 0-0s? Not so this season, and they've now defeated Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea back to back to back. Preston came from behind to beat the Swans with Dwayne Holmes scoring the winner. Looking forward to seeing if they can keep it up next week against lots of familiar faces on and indeed off the pitch at Stoke. Meanwhile, Birmingham host Millwall and I will be there in person to see what exactly is going on at the moment at St Andrews. Check out the vlog. That will be out sometime early evening next Saturday. 3. Top gear. So I've tarred a couple of teams with the getting it done tag and another couple of teams with the surprise package tag, but right now maybe the most convincing team in the entire Championship is Norwich City. The Canaries battered Huddersfield 4-0 away from home. They are the top scoring side in the division. They've got the informed goal scorer in the division in Johnny Rowe, and let's be honest, the only game that Norwich haven't won this season, that mad 4-4 draw at Southampton, that could easily have been another 3-pointer too. Maybe, who knows, my words were prophetic on week 1 when I said that late Norwich winner against Hull could just be a big turning point in terms of getting things off in the right direction. The confidence and the goals are flowing. These new experienced signings seem to have had exactly the desired effect on those around them, and in terms of the team closest to achieving its potential in the Championship at the moment, I would go with Norwich. In 3 games' time, Norwich v Leicester. That could be an absolutely fascinating barometer as to where we are in terms of who is looking strongest over these first 10 games. 4. Stuttering starters. We still have 4 teams on 1 point or fewer. That would be Rotherham, Borough, Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday. Rotherham, without patronising an excellent club that functions very sensibly, will often get a pass from me for those exact reasons. I'm sure we can make some very interesting financial comparisons between the Millers and Leicester, who beat them at the weekend. Rotherham have got informed Norwich coming up next week, so it's not going to get any easier. Borough, well, that's just a bit of a shocker at the moment. Not only are they missing Akpom, Archer and Ramsey, they look as fragile as a house of cards at the back, evidenced by the latest defeat 4-2 at West Brom at the weekend, where the Baggies scored 4 goals from an XG of 0.62. QPR at home next for Borough, massive. Huddersfield, we already mentioned, they're tonking at home to Norwich. They don't look good at all, and I'm seeing a manager in Neil Warnock who frankly doesn't really need to be there, and an owner who kind of likes to tweak quite a lot. Both things are perfectly reasonable, but could also be potential red flags in the early days of this season. And right at the bottom, Sheffield Wednesday are still on 0 points. They lost 2-1 to a 98th minute penalty at Cardiff. Desperate stuff. If they weren't already, the fans are now really starting to round on owner Mr. Chansiri, and they've got a game against Leeds next week that, as we're about to discuss, probably just got a hell of a lot more difficult. 5, a warning shot. Now, we've all been watching what's been a little bit of a circus so far at Leeds. Takeover, manager, signings, all kind of delayed. Players with crazy loan relegation releases leaving left and right, and big name players just not coming out and playing for the team for various different reasons. This past weekend now looks like a bit of a ground zero for Leeds in hindsight, and a warning shot for the rest of the Championship. Leeds front 4 of new signing Joel Pirro, club record signing Jorginho Ruta, and the returning mutineers Nonto and Sinistera banged in 4 goals against a very informed Ipswich side in a thrilling 4-3 win. I'm sure you can imagine my unbelievable shock when I got some smug messages from my Norwich friends at the weekend. They were talking about Farkaball, and the scary truth is they couldn't have been more wrong. I didn't see any Farkaball at Portman Road, just a front line that looked miles too good for the division that Ipswich struggled badly to cope with. If Leeds do start playing Farkaball, i.e. the football that won the German 2 championship titles with Norwich, with this bunch of attacking players, consider this a warning shot. It might be very difficult to stop. Those are my hot takes then. Be sure to get yours down there in the comments. Please, no tears if I didn't mention your team on this video. I will on Thursday, so click up here for a reminder to tune into the Championship Check-In live with me and Sam Parkin on Thursday night from 7, and click up here to see my vlog from that 7-goal thriller from Portman Road at the weekend, starring that particularly frightening Leeds United frontline.